My name is Garofolo, and I am the Health Advocate Leader in the Nutrition area for Campus Health Services. Okay, the recipe we're going to make today is the fresh tomato pasta, which is on the Campus Health news that is distributed throughout all the dorms. The first step is you take garlic, which is in the basic pantry, and you take off the papery skin that gets everywhere, and you only need 1 clove. So this is 1 clove. There is a hard shell that is sort of around the garlic clove that you have to get off, and it's a real pain. So the easiest way to do that is to set it down on a flat surface and take a knife like this one that's sort of broad, and you're going to set it down really carefully, put some pressure on it, and then just kind of smack it like that. Okay, now you see I kind of broke it in half, but the point is that it took the skin off, which is nice and simple. Then there's a little kind of root here on the end of it. Just cut that off. I don't think you have to, but I just like to because it kind of grosses me out. And then you're going to mince the garlic, which is like a really fine kind of chop, and you want to make it into tiny little pieces. And this is what a mince looks like. They're nice and tiny. If you want, you can get them a little bit more even. And then we are going to make it into a paste. To make a paste with garlic, first of all you have to chop it up really small, and then you take just a tiny bit of salt, just a little bit, sprinkle it in there. It's sticking to my fingers because I have garlic juice all over me. And then you're going to want to kind of smash it. So ideally, these would be in more even pieces, but we'll work with what we got. Okay, so we're still working on trying to get this into a paste. It takes a little while, but it's not that bad. And it's not going to be like, you think paste, you think like glue. It's not going to be that smooth. You're still going to have some little chunks in it, but it's just the point of kind of getting that salt in there and making it kind of breaking the garlic down a little bit. So it kind of turns into like, I don't know if you can see, but it's sort of sticking to my fingers. So that's about what you want. So let's get it off here. Don't use the sharp side of the knife. Alright, so now we're going to throw the garlic paste in a bowl, and then we're going to work on chopping some tomatoes. Take a different knife because you use the knife you use to chop the garlic. Your tomatoes are going to taste like garlic, and I mean, they blend together in the end, but we're just going to cut them with a different knife for right now. So, we're going to cut the tomato in half and take out, well, cut around this sort of white fibrous part of it. You only need 1.5 tomatoes, so the other half you can wrap it up in plastic wrap, put it in the fridge, and use it on maybe a sandwich later. So we're going to put that to the side for now, and then continue coarsely chopping. So basically just, oh, they're bleeding everywhere. Basically just cut it into a nice chunk like this. And then you can either take a fork or a box grater. So you take the tomatoes over your bowl, and you can use, I mean, most of us in our dorms are going to have forks readily available. So you take a fork, just kind of start scraping it, kind of just destroying the pulp of the tomato, because you want it to make sort of a sauce. Alright, now we're going to put some lemon juice in the mix, but I left some, if you can see here, I left some wedges of the tomato because it makes a nice presentation when you put it over the pasta, and a lot of people like tomato. If you don't like tomato that much, just grate it up with the rest of it, but I just put some chunks in there just to make it look pretty. Okay, now, you can either use like the bottled lemon juice that you get in the store, or you can actually use a fresh lemon. We only need, I think, 2 tablespoons. So what you're going to do, it's kind of hard to juice a lemon sometimes, so you just kind of want to put some pressure on it and just roll it. So I know it sounds crazy, but it really does work. So you roll it a little bit, it's kind of soft, and then you take your knife, not the garlic one, and cut it in half. And this should probably give you, depending, each will probably give you about 2 tablespoons, but we'll just see. And put your hand underneath the lemon because the seeds will come out, so you don't want to get those in your mix. Alright, so give it a good squeeze. This is probably about 1.5 tablespoons. If you'll look, you see the seeds are in my hand, so kind of keep those there. It smells really good. Okay, and then you're going to add 1 teaspoon of salt. So just throw that in there. And then 1 teaspoon of pepper. You can just eyeball it if you want, you know. Not a huge pepper fan, so I'm probably not going to put that much in there. Okay, now we give this a little quick mix. It doesn't really come together, it's just kind of liquidy. But mix it around and then set it off to the side. It needs to sit for 10 minutes. And then we fill our pot up with water. Okay, and you want a lot more water than you need pasta. So fill it up probably about 3/4 of the way. And then turn your stove top on high and just leave it and wait till it boils. Okay, so now that the water is boiling, we're going to put our pasta in. And I'm going to go ahead and make the whole box, but if it's just one person or 2 people, probably make about half the box. I'm using a gluten-free multigrain penne, which multigrain pasta is normally like really heavy, and I don't usually like it because it's just, I don't know, you fill up after like 3 bites. But this stuff is actually really good, and it's also gluten-free, which people with celiac disease, which most of you have probably never heard of, but they can eat this, so normally they can't eat grains. And it is also penne pasta, which is my favorite, because it holds the sauce really well. So those are the advantages of this pasta, which can also be found in the basic pantry. Okay. Alright, now that our pasta's done, we're going to carry it very carefully over to the sink. Put our colander in the sink. Just kind of make sure it's not going to fall over on you. And pour out the pasta slowly because the water's still hot. And then this particular pasta says that you need to rinse it after you're done. So just turn on some cold water, kind of run it under there. Alright, so I'm going to try and fit this in this little bowl. I may have to use a bigger one, we'll see. So, get it all off the sides there. Put it in there. It's kind of a weird grayish color just because it's whole wheat. But it tastes really good because I just ate some of it. Oops. Losing some of it here. This stuff actually kind of cooks itself because of the acid from the lemon. And you'll notice that the chunks of your tomato start to break down a little bit. It's really kind of interesting. I wasn't expecting that when I first made this, but yeah, so your sauce is pretty easy, just kind of makes itself. Alright, now the next step is we just kind of put whole basil leaves on the pasta and mix it in. If you look, this is what the leaves look like. And we actually have some. There's a garden at the cultural center, which I had no idea existed, and I just found out. We actually got our basil from there, so if you're interested, you can go check out their garden. And I'm just going to rip it up a little bit because I don't necessarily want whole basil leaves. I am going to try some of this because I'm hungry. Wow, the basil really makes it kind of earthy, I guess. It's good.